Ernest Gilbert Gay Consortium. Senator, I have a few questions. First, I want to start with the abattoir. You spoke of bushkill and how that is illegal, and at the same time you mentioned that there are some issues with the abattoir on St. Croix. You said it's down today, might be up tomorrow. When is that situation going to be stable so that you're able to properly enforce the bushkill law?
Well, thank you for the question. Bushkill is illegal whether the abattoir is up or down. So I just want to make that clear. Bushkills are illegal, period, because there's no regulation on that. If the food is contaminated, you're at your own risk. If you have animals raising and you're doing it for a family or a small group within your family, you can do that. The abattoir is being down today. It's not, as I told you, this one is not our fault. It is government infrastructure, rusted water. We are looking within the department to see what we can do to have our source of water, good clean water to use for that purpose. That's going to take some work because the cistern has water in it that's been sitting for some while, so that also cannot be used. Thought about maybe using the water truck. However, the water truck delivers other water in it, including some of the rusted water, so that cannot be used. So we are at a place and time where there's no immediate fix, except hopefully WAPA can be back up and running the water and the pipes are flush. That's the most immediate fix, to tell WAPA we need them to be back up. But the infrastructure that we're talking about, we're definitely going to look at probably cleaning out this cistern and having our own source here, so that when we run into that water, that WAPA situation, we have a supplement. Telling you that variable is not at my discretion.
So you don't know?
I don't know.
Okay.
That's what I'm telling you. That's WAPA's.
Okay.
Whether when WAPA fix gets the water back up, that's a WAPA problem.
Okay.
We're impacted, but it's a WAPA problem. Like the same problem they're having. Everybody westward getting this brown chocolate water. That's a Virgin Islands. That's a St. Croix Virgin Islands problem, and it's impacting the department. So all we can do is appeal to WAPA that it's affecting our ability to slaughter.
Okay, and the St. Thomas situation?
The St. Thomas situation is a little more grave than that. The abattoir was damaged by the hurricane. It's severely damaged. It can be fixed. There was some repairs done prior. We're hopeful that we can get back up. There is some recovery money available. Part of our situation with the abattoir in St. Thomas is the road, the bridge to nowhere, the alternate road that they made, so to cut into our property, so getting on and off the abattoir is hard. So that's again an impact there, even though we can probably move to repair the abattoir and put some windows in, and I think once we put in the windows we'll be able to at least operate and clean it, we'll be able to operate. That road situation is a situation that we have to look at. So I'll have to talk to Public Works and the government also see what it is they're doing regarding that matter.
All right, so one last, it's a follow-up, and you've already clarified the situation with the abattoir. So it is dependent on WAPA fixing the water situation on St. Croix, relative to its reopening, and on St. Thomas, again, a lot of more issues there. So currently, we really have nowhere to slaughter animals in the territory.
Today you don't.
Today
you don't.
And we don't know for tomorrow or for how long. So
you are correct on that.
Yes. So what is the backup or solution there for farmers who really want to slaughter the animals?
Again, Mr. Gilbert, I just got informed of this ongoing situation today. Earlier last week, that situation occurred. WAPA came back up in a couple of days. We were able to continue. I just got apprised of that while standing here a little earlier. When I leave here, I will go talk to the gentleman and lady down at the abattoir to find out what alternative plan we can come up with. That's all we can do, work within our means. And I'm not trying to pitch you any tour around here. I'm just being very direct and real with you. It is what it is. It's not a situation we welcome, but these are the hardships we find ourselves. Could we go back and blame administration after administration for not investing in agricultural infrastructure? Sure, but who is that going to benefit at this point? So, my type of leadership is looking forward, looking at the positives, pun intended, and seeing how we could best improve our situation here and our service to the people in the territory.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for your questions.
Basically, I just wanted to kind of inform the public also, because I work at the abattoir. And so I just wanted to let the farmers know that we're trying everything we can to get a facility back up and running. But in the meantime, what you can do is just continue to feed your animal and take care of them. And whenever we up and running, we definitely will give you a call so you could bring your animal. But ain't nothing will happen to them. You just continue to feed them and give them water, that's all. You know, so it ain't really a big issue to say, well, what we gonna do? Just continue to feed them, take care of them, and whenever you're gonna be, maybe it might be sometime this month, next week, we don't know. And so we just call you and let you know. That's all. And that's all I wanted to say.
People of the Virgin Islands, wherever you are, maybe viewing and listening, seeing that we have social media available now. This press conference was called to inform you of certain things that the department has available, certain activities taking place within the department. I would first like to tell the public that regarding the mulch, we have some decent quality mulch, high grade mulch if you may, on both islands. The mulch is now available for farmers first, and then for the regular citizens. Here on St. Croix, if you're coming for buckets, small pickups, you can come here to the Rudolph Schultebrand Ag Grounds, and we have piles of mulch here for you. If you're coming for bigger loads on St. Croix, that can be picked up at Estate Slab on Tuesdays and Thursdays between 8 to 3 o'clock. If you coordinate with us, we will load it for you. Again, the mulch is not for resale. The mulch is for farming activity. We prefer that farmers come get the mulch. We don't want you to take this mulch and go try to resell it. That's illegal and totally unethical. In St. Thomas, the mulch is also available at Bodo Farm and at Estate Dorothea and the agricultural grounds. Again, you can go there and pick up the mulch for farming purposes. And I get it, we have requests at Bodo Farm to try to distribute them to other locations. The Department of Agriculture cannot do it all. So we brought it close to you. We ask that you take what steps you can to get the mulch to you. Again, it's high quality mulch. I really appreciate the opportunity to be able to have this available for you, and it's accessible to farmers first and then the general community. We will continue to have mulch until it's done. We also have available on St. Croix at the ag grounds. We have access to some of the poles, telephone poles that were taken down. We now have some stored here on site, and through coordination, we're not asking you one farmer to come here and take all the poles. But poles are available, and we will continue to have them available until they're done. Thank you very much for your time.
All right. Good morning, Commissioner nominee.
I'll say your name and your media.
Yes. Ernest Gilbert Via Consortium. Senator, I have a few questions. First, I want to start with the abattoir. You spoke of bushkill and how that is illegal, and at the same time you mentioned that there are some issues with the abattoir on St. Croix. You said it's down today, might be up tomorrow. When is that situation going to be stable so that you're able to properly enforce the bushkill law?
Well, thank you for the question. Bushkill is illegal whether the abattoir is up or down. So I just want to make that clear. Bushkills are illegal, period, because there's no regulation on that. If the food is contaminated, you're at your own risk. If you have animals raising and you're doing it for a family or a small group within your family, you can do that. The abattoir is being down today. It's not, as I told you, this one is not our fault. It is government infrastructure, rusted water. We are looking within the department to see what we can do to have our source of water, good clean water to use for that purpose. That's going to take some work because the cistern has water in it that's been sitting for some while, so that also cannot be used. Thought about maybe using the water truck. However, the water truck delivers other water in it, including some of that rusted water, so that cannot be used. So we are at a place in time where there's no immediate fix, except hopefully WAPA can be back up and running the water and the pipes are flush. That's the most immediate fix, to tell WAPA we need them to be back up. But the infrastructure that we're talking about, we're definitely going to look at probably cleaning out this cistern and having our own source here, so that when we run into that water, that WAPA situation, we have a supplement.
So for clarification, it's down today. Will it be up tomorrow?
Mr. Gilbert, I just told you that's on WAPA. We do not control the Water and Power Authority. It's water that's coming to us from the lines. All we can do is hope that WAPA is on board as far as getting the pipes fixed.
Right.
Okay.
I'm not trying to cause confusion, Senator. What I'm saying is, you said it will be down today. Do you know when it will be? It'll be back up?
I'm telling you, that variable is not at my discretion.
So you don't know?
I don't know.
Okay.
That's what I'm telling you. That's WAPA's.
Okay.
When WAPA fix gets the water back up, that's a WAPA problem.
Okay.
We're impacted, but it's a WAPA problem. Like the same problem they're having, everybody westward getting this brown chocolate water. That's a Virgin Islands, that's a St. Croix Virgin Islands problem, and it's impacting the department. So all we can do is appeal to WAPA that it's affecting our ability to slaughter.
Okay, and the St. Thomas situation?
The St. Thomas situation is a little more grave than that. The abattoir was damaged by the hurricane. It's severely damaged. It can be fixed. There was some repairs done prior. We're hopeful that we can get back up. There is some recovery money available. Part of our situation with the abattoir in St. Thomas is the road, the bridge to nowhere, the alternate road that they made, so to cut into our property. So getting on and off the abattoir is hard. So that's again an impact there, even though we can probably move to repair the abattoir and put some windows in, and I think once we put in the windows, we'll be able to at least operate and clean it. We'll be able to operate. That road situation is a situation that we have to look at. So I'll have to talk to Public Works and the government also see what it is they're doing regarding that matter.
All right. Two more questions. I want to speak of the Department of Agriculture's budget.
Yeah.
This is something the department has grappled with for a very long time. You've been a senator for many years, and you heard former commissioners speak about how there is not enough monies to properly run this department. Now you're commissioner nominee. Are you seeking more monies as part of your upcoming budget? Or?
We can always use more monies, but what we will do is within what we have and within the access for grants, which there's a lot of, we will optimize our efficiency within our current situation while we lobby the Senate for more, while we look at other funding sources, because believe it or not, the USDA, Department of Agriculture, there's more funds, federal funds, assistance available to our area as a Virgin Islands and to our department perhaps than any other agency in government. It is whether or not we reach into it, and that's where I tell you I believe that's where some of my strength will shine, is my ability to not only understand policy but to source funding and apply it to programs. So yes, we are a restricted budget, but I believe that the department can do more within its current budget by reconfiguring our organizational chart, giving right titles to some of our employees, and give them a sense of purpose. Some of what's going on with these employees is not their own fault. They've just been moved around, tossed around, and just feeling like they feel like they're not valued because their positions change from one commissioner to the next. We're going to give them responsibility, and with that responsibility, we should be able to see better performance under our current situation, not denying the fact that we need more money.
Okay. I want to talk about cannabis, of course. That is part of the regulation for that is under the Department of Agriculture, along with DLCA and some other departments. You didn't mention it. That, of course, was one of your signature measures as a senator. What are your plans for cannabis regulation implementation in the Virgin Islands moving forward?
Thank you very much. You're right. I championed that as a senator. I'm now Commissioner of the Department of Agriculture. My role here is food production, water supply, getting more people interested in farming. As Department of Agriculture Commissioner, I will sit on the Cannabis Advisory Board, named by the governor, confirmed by the legislature. It is still my interest to push for the regulation to roll out. Right now, they're in the phase of when the board is organized, they will start to construct the rules and regs. That is not under the Department of Agriculture responsibility. So I just don't want to get lost in that. I'm here today as Department of Agriculture Commissioner. That's what's going to happen. Under cannabis, I will play my role, whether on the advisory board, whether talking to the governor, whether consulting with the OCR. I expect to be intricately involved. Just as a side note, this month, March, I'm actually featured on the front cover. Can you get it up? Let me show up to you. Can you get it on my car, please, Ms. Blyden? I'm actually featured on the front cover of Dope magazine. Dope means defending our plant everywhere. Okay, I'm on the cover of Dope magazine. That's a magazine that's all across the West Coast. So I believe that we have used and have the attention of America and the rest of the world, and we can capitalize on the tourism about that. So, I don't want to get lost. My tenure is of the Department of Agriculture. I'm a cannabis advocate. I do not hide that fact. I support legalization of cannabis medicinally. I support legalization of cannabis for adult purpose, and I support the production of hemp. Now, what I can tell you as it relates to hemp was in the Farm Bill since about 2000. Well, every year has a Farm Bill, and the Farm Bill of 2018 made hemp an agricultural product. So this Department of Agriculture, along with the University of the Virgin Islands, expect, under my tenure, to have a pilot hemp project. And I will source funding for that. So I'm not going to use our funding to do exactly that, to see what we can produce from hemp grown here in the territory. And mind you, hemp is not the marijuana that people smoke. Okay, hemp is a very similar family plant. It's the same plant family, but it's used industrially for building products, oils, and you've heard of these CBD oils, which are not, psychoactive, and I do expect to pursue that. And this is the magazine. You can feel free to take a few pictures of the 10-page spread. Here you can hear a lot of what I have to say regarding cannabis and marijuana. They will have a nice picture with me. I've heard somebody talk about it on the radio, so I might as well show you. There's a nice picture of me smelling the plant. There's no shame in my game. I was a senator for 14 years. I support legalization. You've asked that at every. I expected you to come with that because, Mr. In respect to him, he's been consistent at every single press conference he come to that I'm here. Whether I'm talking cannabis and I could be talking about child graduated from college, gonna have a cannabis question. So I don't mind you asking the question because you keep it active for me. It's not my bringing it forward all the time. I just want to make that clear. I've been accused of always talking about cannabis, but we have witnessed that question came up. I'm only responding. But yes, I expect to be involved, Mr. Gilbert.
All right, so one last, it's a follow-up, and you've already clarified the situation with the abattoir. So it is dependent on WAPA fixing the water situation on St. Croix, relative to its reopening, and on St. Thomas. Again, a lot of more issues there. So currently, we really have nowhere to slaughter animals in the territory.
Today you don't.
Today
you don't.
And we don't know for tomorrow or for how long. So
you are correct on that.
Yes. So what is the backup or solution there for farmers who really want to slaughter the animals?
Again, Mr. Gilbert, I just got informed of this ongoing situation today. Earlier last week, that situation occurred. WAPA came back up in a couple of days. We were able to continue. I just got apprised of that while standing here a little earlier. When I leave here, I will go talk to the gentleman and lady down at the abattoir to find out what alternative plan we can come up with. That's all we can do, work within our means. And I'm not trying to pitch you any tour around here. I'm just being very direct and real with you. It is what it is. It's not a situation we welcome, but these are the hardships we find ourselves. Could we go back and blame administration after administration for not investing in agricultural infrastructure? Sure, but who is that going to benefit at this point? So, my type of leadership is looking forward, looking at the positives, pun intended, and seeing how we could best improve our situation here and our service to the people in the territory.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for your questions. Any more questions, media? Mr. Gilbert asked everything that anybody would have wanted. Staff is here present, and I know we don't usually allow this, but if there's any question that staff would want to ask me in front of the public, feel free to do so. I know we're going to have a staff meeting later, but I'm not afraid of being confronted with a question that you might want answered publicly.
Yeah. Yes. Good morning,
Good morning.
Good morning, media. Good morning, everybody.
Money.
Basically, I just wanted to kind of inform the public also because I work at the abattoir, and so I just wanted to let the farmers know that we're trying everything we can to get a facility back up and running. But in the meantime, what you can do is just continue to feed your animal and take care of them. And whenever we up and running, we definitely will give you a call so you could bring your animal. But ain't nothing will happen to them. We just continue to feed them and give them water. That's all. So it ain't really a big issue to say, well, what we gonna do? Just continue to feed them, take care of them, and whenever you're up, it's gonna be, maybe it might be sometime this month, next week, we don't know. And so we'll just call you and let you know. That's all. And that's all I wanted to say.
Okay, thank you very much. And just at the point, as you said, it made me thought about something. Thank you. And I appreciate, employees, get accustomed to being involved. I know it's new, but, you're part of this team, okay? Something I want to mention as it relates to the abattoir. Farmers, I know that some of you have gotten accustomed to come in and you might come a little early and drop off your animal when no one is there to attend to that drop off. You can't do that. You can't drop off an animal without an escort from the Department of Agriculture. So that coming early and tossing it over in the pens, don't do that to us. Remember, when we run into situations of such and we get cited, we get an NR, I'm learning the language. Thank you, Sarah. We get an NR, then those are the things that inhibit our growth. Okay? So I think we really need to watch that and I'm talking to the farming community. There are certain things you already know, and we're going to reestablish the rules and reprint them. You know, as far as when you bring meats to slaughter, you know the rule for picking up. You need to have ice and a cooler, all those things. So I'm not trying to be too stringent here, but it's food safety, and we have compliance matters that we have to apply by. So with that, I just want to thank you. Are there any more questions? Questions, comments? Gilbert, you can ask anyone. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to the staff once again. Good morning to all those gathered here on this beautiful day on St. Croix, U.S. Virgin Islands at the Rudolph Schulterbrand Agricultural Grounds here in Frederiksted, St. Croix. I am your Commissioner nominee of the Department of Agriculture, of the Virgin Islands Department of Agriculture, Positive T.A. Nelson. I would like to welcome you to this called press conference to update you on some happenings within the department. I would like to acknowledge the media and thank you for being present. And I want to thank my staff for gathering here and all those who may be viewing and listening. As it is my custom to start every formal activity that I will have, I want to make it clear by doing such that I do put God first. So I'd like for us to humble ourselves to prayer, please. Our dear Creator, we thank you for life, we thank you for love. We ask for wisdom and understanding that we may live our lives in a way pleasing and suitable to you. We ask for your continued guidance. We ask that you govern our hearts, you guide our minds, that you give us goodwill, good intentions, dear God. We thank you for this privilege of serving. We thank you for giving us the strength to awaken this morning. We ask that you give us clear focus, that we can stick to our mission. We pray for the Virgin Islands and its people. We pray for the world and its people. We thank you for all that you have done and all that you will do for us. And we give you glory, honor, and praise in all that we do. Amen. To the public and the press, and it's going to be at the St. Croix campus of the University of the Virgin Islands, room 133, Extension Center, from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. on March 27th. I also want for the farming community to know that the Red Cross grants, $2,000 grants, are still available. You need to go ahead on and apply. That is money, free money, they're willing to give to farmers. They felt like the program was underutilized, so they've taken a second swing at it. This is separate and apart from any other assistance you might have received. So please take advantage of that. Young people and parents, there is an Ag Discovery Summer Program taking place at the University of the Virgin Islands. They also extended the deadline for applications. It was the 15th of March, they extended it to the 22nd. This is where you spend a couple weeks on campus learning agriculture, getting involved in agriculture. We have people, students actually come from the States and participate. For the last couple of years, there were more stateside students participating in the program than Virgin Islands students because they were applying. It is paid for, it is fully funded. Parents, young people, if there's an interest, and even if there's not an interest, you might develop an interest by being exposed to it. Agriculture is not just about hand in the ground dirt. There are many sciences surrounding agriculture. So please, take advantage of that. I think I've made all of the announcements that there are some things I need to announce as it relates to the public and for the farming community that you need to be aware of. There is upcoming, and I want for you to mark your calendars, there will be a round table. The U.S. Department of Agriculture, what I've been doing a lot of since taking this office, is we've been meeting just trying to connect the dots. First with the recovery individuals, finding out what's going on with the money to repair this place and get it back up. And also with our agencies who support our department. There's one thing we must understand, staff, there's so much research and technical assistance available for us, including funding opportunities, but it's up to us to reach out to them. Okay, we are happy. I know sometimes we look at it as a burden, but I'm happy to have a USDA inspector here on board at the abattoir. We may not like it, but if we can run a tight ship, then we'll be exemplary, and we know that our people will be safe as it relates to meat. So I thank you, Sarah. I know we might stunt and grin, but we appreciate where you're taking us to, and because we have to get on board not only to meet the compliance issues, but on behalf of our people. And that is when you hear me let out staff, and we were talking earlier about pride in work. Food security, food safety is very important. We hear often throughout the world different news reports of contaminated food. We are lucky in the place like the Virgin Islands that our food is relatively close to us. Even though we still import a whole bunch of it, there is food that can be grown. And when we had lettuce problems in the States, there was no lettuce problem here in the Virgin Islands because we were growing lettuce. So if we can do that with other crops, we'll be on top of things and we'll be more secured. Okay? So look forward on that. The coming to the USDA roundtable is taking place on the 27th of March. It's going to be at the University of the Virgin Islands Albert A. Sheen campus, the Research and Extension Center, room 133. This is a USDA roundtable. It's open to the public. It is going to be from 9 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. on March 27th. There are flyers. I think we made copies, but you can respond to Mr. Joe Woody. He's the USDA liaison, and his email is joe.woody, WOODY, at usda.gov. Again, his email is joe, J-O-E, .woody, W-O-O-D-Y, at usda.gov. This is a biggie here. People of the Virgin Islands, if you purchase meat that was slaughtered anywhere else than in the abattoir of the Virgin Islands, you are at risk. It's called bushkill. Now, a family can slaughter an animal for their own consumption, but it is illegal to slaughter an animal at home or in the bush and take it to the stores or restaurants, and it's illegal for the restaurants and stores to purchase and sell that meat. In the name of food security, there's a reason why meats are taken to the abattoir. All we need is some situation like people start to get poisoned from meat, and then where you think they're going to shift the blame. So I'm making it clear that the abattoir, we have our challenges, and I want to announce that we are down today, and we've been having challenges, and this time it's not the Department of Agriculture, by the way, I must say this. This time it's part of the infrastructure challenges we're having. When rusty waters are coming to the pipes here that we use to wash and clean the area and the meats, it's a challenge for us. And these are infrastructure challenges that unfortunately sometimes we get blamed for at the Department of Agriculture, but these are things we have to look at comprehensively as it relates to government and government's infrastructure. But bushkill, despite what we're saying here, bushkills are illegal. We understand there are challenges in St. Thomas relative to the abattoir, and we're working that out, and we're establishing a program where at least I think once or twice a month, it's not set yet, we will actually ship over animals from the St. Thomas, St. John district for slaughter over here until such time that we can get the abattoir in St. Thomas back up and running. It is our intention to get the abattoir on St. Thomas back up and running. This administration, the Brian Roach administration, is very serious about agriculture. I appreciate the support that they're throwing behind us already, and I'm certain that we will see this happen in the next couple of years. As we are on animals, let me say this. We are anticipating, and I've been told by Dr. Bradford, our veterinarian, that we are anticipating a drought this summer. And as you know, with growing pains, we also have some losses. I must announce that we have received letters one of retirement, one of resignation because of relocation purposes. And I do want to thank and acknowledge for her 16 years of service, Miss Delreese Brown. She was over your administration of the department. She will be departing from us because of family reasons. So Delreese, Miss Brown, I do want to thank you for your 16 years of service. She does have a couple more weeks on hand, and we just want to thank you, and I just want to let you staff know that that's one of the individuals that's who's believing us. All right, I thank you. We will have an appropriate ceremony at that time. I do also want to announce the retirement of Mr. Errol Chichester. He was our assistant commissioner, and I do want to thank him for his some 32 years of service to this department and the people of the Virgin Islands. He has submitted his letter of retirement effective April 12th. He's now on vacation leave now, so when he comes back, he'll just be wrapping it up. I too would like to publicly thank him for his years of service with the department and on behalf of the people of the territory. Mr. Chichester. Other than to say this, and we were having a staff meeting earlier, and we're going to continue to have staff meeting. We understand there might be a perception that farming is poor man's work. The Department of Agriculture, you have us kind of like the bad news bears, that team that's expected to lose. I want to make it clear, as head of this department, along with my colleagues, along with my teammates, the employees of this department, that we're going to prove that we can accomplish our mission of food production, consumer protection, environmental protection. We're going to prove that we're not just a group, a cluster of misfits, but we are a revived, reinvigorated Department of Agriculture. Yes. From our logo, come straight on down. Yes. So I've asked my staff, I've asked my employees to get on board with this vision. And I believe that they are with me. And I expect to see production, and I'm asking you, the public, to expect production from us. Expect, well, most people don't even know what our forestry division do. It does. But you're going to see and hear a lot more, because there's a lot going on as it relates to our green space. So staff, understand that your leader is not one who's going to stand up and tell you, go do. I'm going to say, let us do. So my commitment to this administration, to Governor Bryan Jr., to Governor Roach, Esquire, Lieutenant Governor Roach, Esquire, I do commit, along with my staff, my administration at this department, your administration that you have appointed here, that we will meet our goals. Team, I've asked you to let's do it together, and I believe you're on board. Let us see, let them see our work. Our work will prove us. We don't have to go on bragging and boasting, but what we do will prove us. I ask for you, the community, to be patient with us as we grow, as we retool, but it's not going to take us forever. I thank you for your attention. Staff, I thank you for your commitment to this new vision. And at this time, we're going to open ourselves for questions from the media. There's a mic. We'll just pause in the meantime. Sorry, the Wi-Fi is not working. I would have played some music as the media set up. Media, just give us a couple of minutes and we'll switch over from staff meeting to press conference. Okay, thank you very much. Situation, we will. Again, some of this is bigger than us. It's government infrastructure. Okay, so hearing no further questions, I want to thank the media once again for coming out. I want to thank my staff, my team, for being a team player, for being team players. I want to thank the governor, lieutenant governor, and the people of the Virgin Islands for your patience, your tolerance, for your support, and for your encouragement into what's going to become the new, the revived, the exemplary department, the Virgin Islands Department of Agriculture. Thank you very much. Arrangement with Hogland. They are bringing the poles here. They will be on site to arrangement with the office. You can come and pick up a few poles. You'll have to cut them yourself. We do not have the staffing to do that for you. We can help with loading with the Bobcat, I believe, but that's to our extent. We really prefer that we're making it accessible and you coordinate your way of getting it loaded. This one is a big one. The Virgin Islands recently passed a tree law. We know that we are in hurricane aftermath. But let me make this very clear. Cutting down the mahogany trees, especially those along the side of the road, even if they are dead, is illegal. It's illegal to cut down these mahogany trees and take them. They belong to the Virgin Islands government, and the Virgin Islands Department of Agriculture is orchestrating a plan to harvest these dead trees to bring to the site. We will make available to the community. We will make available for some woodwork workshops, etc. But right now, what I'm really trying to lay down to you is that it is illegal, unlawful, to take the mahogany trees. You might hear of a case coming up because there's someone who has been cited or will be cited about this. You can't just cut down the trees and take them for your personal use. That's theft. Anybody caught doing so will be fined. The law allows us to fine you up to $500 per tree. We are interested in individuals who might have the capacity to come to us with a proposal for our coordination of getting those trees into the Department of Agriculture. You can't go on your own and cut them down. I want to make myself clear. And that's not only on St. Croix, by the way. That's also on St. Thomas. There is a contract being let that's going to, it's called leaners and hangers, that's going to cut down some of the leaning and hanging branches that's broken higher up. That has not begun. That's a federal contract. Cutting mahogany trees is illegal. As a matter of fact, cutting trees over a certain size is illegal, and you have to get permission from the department. Something I'm very excited about, and the First Lady of the Virgin Islands, the governor's wife, is very interested in having such. We want all schools in the territory who are able to establish a school farm. It's important that we do this, not because there's a competition next year during fair time for which school has the best farm, but we want to show the value and importance of food supply and how food supply at these various satellite programs can help our overall food production. My simple approach to my tenure under this department is to ensure that we increase our food supply so that we can reduce the percentage of food import that we totally rely on. So schools, I'm asking you, and we do have someone on board, and I'm going to introduce him in a minute. That's going to help you in establishing your farms, getting this logged into the Department of Agriculture for us to give you the necessary assistance so that these school farms can be thriving. We expect with a lot of busy hands, available water, that these school farms should be a success. I also want to let the public know that this summer, this very same summer of 2019, I, as your commissioner nominee, I intend to hold here at this Department of Agriculture on St. Croix for certain, and I'm going to work out what we can do in St. Thomas. We are going to have a summer program. There is no way we can expect interest of the young people into farming if we don't expose them and get them close to farming. So Department of Agriculture, we are having a summer camp, a summer program this summer, and look forward to an after-school program as well, working in close conjunction with the 4-H clubs. And I'm glad my staff is here hearing this, because I don't intend to put all this burden on you, but I want you to know there are things happening, and I want where you're able to participate in this. Get motivated. We're going to do more. While I'm on staff, let me say this. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait till the end. School farms and summer programs at the Department of Agriculture. We have brought on 2 new individuals. Those individuals will serve in the capacity of the School and Satellite Farms Coordinator, and he's in the name of Mr. Roberto James. We're happy to have him on board.
Morning, everybody.
And the next person is going to help me with the administration of this department, and she is going to serve in the capacity of Deputy Commissioner of the Virgin Islands Department of Agriculture, and she's in the name of Miss Khadija Blyden. Now understand that I said of the Virgin Islands Department of Agriculture. What I want for us to set the trend in doing is that when we speak as one Virgin Islands Department of Agriculture. This thing about St. Thomas and St. Croix can't exist on the, even though, yes, physically we do. But as far as operations, we're one department, and we will try to be efficient all around. So my Deputy Commissioner, who's currently on board, is here to help to manage and run the department, not St. Thomas. So when you see her over here or you hear her call you, she has the exact same authority as your commissioner. Nothing less. I expect full respect, full cooperation. Likewise with the public, I expect for you to respect who we have here. These two individuals, I'm going to ask them to make some brief remarks to introduce themselves to you.
Annie Nelson for the introduction. Again, good morning, and a special good morning to the team who has been representing the Department of Agriculture here in the Virgin Islands prior to, and I'm humbled to be your Deputy Commissioner of the department. As the nominee mentioned, I came from a strong executive administrative background, therefore providing me with the ingenuity to help collectively strengthen the teams to help you work more efficiently, more lightly, so that we can better and effectively serve our farming community, our schools, and our community at large. And again, I want to thank the Commissioner nominee for his confidence in my ability to serve you and to serve our Virgin Islands, and more so the Brian Roach administration for their confidence. I am humbled and I am grateful. Thank you for your time.
Blessed good morning, everybody. It is such a pleasure to be here. I want to publicly thank the governor and you too, Commissioner, for your support. The governor is actually, he wants to make a positive difference in the lives of our students by developing their potential. So he came up with this project in collaboration with the Commissioner to have a school and satellite farm program. Hopefully we will generate so much interest that we can actually duplicate it in St. Thomas, because our children needs to realize that, you know, there are opportunities in agriculture, agri-science to be particular, over 400 different careers. And here is one field that we can use to introduce them to agriculture, because every other field in agri-science came about because of production agriculture. And I am thankful for the opportunity to be here, sir. Thank you.